So I wanted to take you around in the morning. It's about 9 o'clock, and I normally come around the afternoon, but it's just so beautiful this morning. So I'm going to show you a little bit of my setup. I've got some tomato plants here, and these really are just spares, and I just use any spare because you actually do get some tomatoes off the spares. I'll cut them off when they get to so high, and I use very little compost. And you know what, if we get a couple of tomatoes, hey ho. And if I take you round, I've also got some spares here, and these are in even smaller pots, so these might get potted on if they show any signs of kind of whoa. I've also got the salad bucket there. It's starting to go to seed a little bit, so we might think about refreshing that. And I've got some salad rocket here that's quite nice, but that again is starting to bolt. Again, I've got some spare tomatoes in here, and there's far too many for that amount of soil. They are sun gold, so they shouldn't be that big, but I've got some peppers and an aubergine in the bottom. It's just ridiculous how many plants I've got in there for the size of that. But we'll see. You know what, we'll see. I'll keep topping it up, keep feeding it, you never know. I've done my little hanging baskets now, and this year I've got very few plants in them, and I normally pack them, but I've got some homegrown marigolds, and hopefully what I'm thinking is the scent of these might actually help the tomatoes that are down here. These are all my San Marzano tomatoes, and these are supposedly better for jarring. I've also got some Roma VF that I'll show you in a minute. I've got a little bit of basil here that's starting to struggle because it's just been planted, so it's in air, but this one's doing great. There's some basil in the hanging baskets as well. Around here I've got a lot of my onions. Now, a lot of the overwintered, the setted onions that were sown, some of them winter, some of them spring, a lot of them actually have bolted because the weather has been so crazy. The weather, it's kind of been hot, cold, wet, but we're just using them as eating onions. So if you see here, this is the scape. You can't eat the scape of an onion, but you can eat this part, which we've been just plucking out and using as spring onions. But I still have got some onions, overwintered onions, that are still going. I've got the Roma VF tomatoes down there, if you can see them, and I've got some of the last of my dahlia big potted plants. The smaller ones that were there have all been planted out into the front garden now, and just look at how productive this space is. It's amazing how much you can get at a square foot, and if it's in the right spot and if it's in the ground, different world. These are the onions here. They're doing amazing, that have actually grown from seed over winter, and they've just stood in little pots, and then I planted them out and they're just bulbing up great, and none of them, touch wood, have gone to seed yet. I've planted in between them some little courgette plants just to get them going, and they've got plenty of space there. You've also got rocket going to seed here. You can see here it's going to have some lovely little plants on, but this lettuce I've been picking for a long time. And I've also got the spinach. This is lemon spinach, and this is proper beautiful spinach that the aim was that I would grow it for the guinea pig, because it costs us like £1 a week in bags of spinach because it's our favourite food, and actually it's saving me that already. So you can see around here, this is kind of an ornamental display. So what I try to do is put anything that flowers here. So, but things also kind of look pretty here. So you can see I've got chives, and that I think was one plant that I've split into 3 now. So I've got flowers in 3 different places. This one's actually doing a lot better. So I've got them on either side. These are radishes that have gone to seed, and they have the most beautiful flower. And there's a lot of things gone to flower, brassicas, cabbages, that are just so beautiful in the spring, really worth growing just for the flowers. So I've got some lemon balm here that's doing really well, and some some sort of mint. I think it might be apple mint. I've got some garlic, but some of my garlic has started to get signs of rust for the first time ever, and I think it's a different variety. I think I brought it in the garden from a variety that I've bought from the internet, but we'll see. So I've got garlic chives here that were split into in the spring, and I've got various different onions, and in the onion plants where I've got foxgloves grown, they've just been left because I will grow them on. I've got some overwintered kale here, and these are some of the flowers, and then what I'll do is I'll collect the seeds from this kale plant, and we'll grow them on next year or in the late summer. So this one, an onion that's gone to seed, so we'll just pull that out at some point. These, bless them, these are my overwintered cauliflowers, but the pigeons, it's fast becoming the quickest pest in my garden. The pigeons have decimated them. So around here I've got the shallots, and I've got 4 buckets of shallots just like this one, so I'm hoping to do well in these buckets. So just some chives, and round here I've got a peas climbing up, and I'm hoping they're the kind you eat, because I know I have planted some sweet peas, but I couldn't remember. I thought they were over here, but they're looking more like real peas. And home saved seeds, so I don't know. We'll see. This is a new addition, this big bucket. I've finally put some holes in because I'm just sick of it lying around collecting water. So it's got some holes in, it's got some tomatoes, it's got some peppers in there as well. And turning down the bottom is this pretty squash. Lucy, what's this? Good girl. And I've got some squashes in this bucket here that didn't do very well with the carrots. And down here as well, so well, like I said, I was hoping these are sweet peas, and that's actually looking more like a sweet pea. I've got the tomatoes down here, and these are just various different odds and things that were left over, so I'll go on them on. I've got gooseberries. Look at this. I have actually, without getting spiked, got some gooseberries on there. That's the first year of getting them. And I've got some beans that hopefully will take off at some point and grow up here. Not at the moment, they're just taking the time. And I've got some onions that I've got to seed here, and hopefully we'll get some seed off those. I've got various kind of squashes and courgettes, and my pure cauliflower that's been decimated by the pigeons again. Got some beans here that are doing a little bit better. I think these are cobra beans. No, they're not cobra beans, they're edamame beans. And I've got these ones from B&Q, and they're quite big already. And that's why they're taken off, because I got them a bit earlier. Some more peas going up here, and some more onions that are nearly ready to harvest. My Japanese wineberry that's taken off this year. I've got some elephant garlic that has got a few spots of rust on, which is not good. So when I see rust, I try to just snap the leaf off, so it won't spread, but I think it's fighting a losing battle. And I've got some crown prince squash at the front. And I've just burnt these leaves in the barbecue, which will get chucked out. And I'll take you into this part. You can see this has all been planted out, and that most recently been planted out because all of the overwintered cabbage and things have come out. So it's kind of just lettuce into planting with some spring onions, and then in the back there I've just planted some beans, but these ones have been a bit decimated by whatever. But I think this needs a good top up in the winter. So when everything comes out, it's going to get a good top up. But at the moment, I've got some nice productive lettuce coming out of it. So these are my other tubs, my 2 other tubs of shallots, and I've got various kind of squashes and courgettes in here. And these are my pure garlic that I've just snipped off a lot of the leaves just to try, and you can see the rust here, to try and slow the rust down. But it might be that we'll take an earlier harvest of these. They are bulbing up. I had a little feel around and they are bulbing up. What a shame. All winter long these have been in here. And I've got my coriander here that's gone to seed. This was overwintered coriander, but it's just so pretty. And the bees love it, and I'm going to get some lovely seeds out of it. It's a bonus. And here I've got 2 more leeks left, the last of my leeks. These are just bunching onions here. Okay, got some carrots down there that are going nicely. Got some potatoes, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I've got my new strawberry patch here, which is doing really well. I'm going to give it a feed this afternoon. The one thing I've got left to do in the garden this week is to get these brassicas into bigger pots and get them covered. Lucy, thank you, Lucy. So here in the back patch, I've talked to you before about the design of this garden and how the sun kind of comes over that way, hides behind the trees all afternoon, and then pops out at the end of the day. So if I had my time again, I would not put a vegetable patch here. That's why the vegetables down at the bottom of the lawn are doing far better than these ones here. But things do grow. So here, and do you know what, a bit of shade might actually be beneficial. So I've got all sorts growing here. So I've got volunteer potatoes here that have popped up from goodness knows where. I've got some garlic that hasn't yet, touch wood, got rust on it, so various rows of garlic. Got some lettuce that we've also been picking, some beetroot that have been kind of multi-sown here, some peas around the back here. Got some more climbing peas and some red pak choi that the shade might benefit, and various little plants dot at the end. I've got some squashes in here that I don't think will do very well just because they haven't got enough sun, but you know, hopefully something will prove us wrong. Some dwarf peas here. Got the last of the shallots in there, just somewhere to put them. I've got some broad beans here. Hopefully we'll get a crop of those. And at the back here I've got my potatoes, and there's actually some onions in there as well. But pots and pots of the potatoes. Now, one of the things that this garden does well is eat compost like there's no tomorrow. I've probably already spent about £60 on compost, and that's with using a lot of my own, make a lot of my own compost. But I top up my tomatoes with some quality compost, and I also top up the tomatoes at the bottom of the garden with quality compost. So what I've been doing is using my own compost with a potato feed in the bottom, and then topping up the pots with grass as they kind of grow. So it's a new technique. We'll see if it works. I am going to probably do a potato reveal from one of these this week, so it'll be interesting to see if we do actually get any potatoes, because these are our most earliest potatoes that were protected in the greenhouse, and this bag's starting to go over, so we might have a little look in there at some point. The last of the flowering brassicas, and a look at the pond there, so pretty. And what this is, being picked by someone. Yeah, I have taken an inordinate amount of winter leaves out of there. There's just been loads, so it's had a good clean, but it's still looking a bit murky, so I might have to just keep on topping it up with water, so that it doesn't become some cesspit, or go and get some oxygenating plants from the garden centre, because it's not doing amazing at the moment for wildlife, but we'll fix that. Clematis that's going up nicely. This is my third bunch of chives, and they're doing really well in the shade actually. It might be that I plant another little bunch down here. Here, this is St John's wort. Various little pots dotted around. This was just a stick when I bought it from the garden centre, but it just chews up this area nicely. This is a shrub that I bought. It's gone a lot greener than I wanted it to. Some seeds from my overwintered pak choi, which we'll use. This is a new clematis that's supposed to be a rapid grower, but I think in this shade they all struggle. But this clematis is growing up much nicer over the new arch here. That's why the lights weren't going on, because there's no sun reaching that at all. So I've got my 3-bay compost bin here, And you can see this one is looking depleted because I've used a lot of compost, and there's actually a lot of compost came out of that bin, which I might be able to show you. This is finished, this has been worked on, and then that'll get turned into there, and then we'll start again. Actually that one gets turned in first, and then we'll start again when this one's full. This wood pile is going in the away because what I want to do is I've got some a leaf pile there that's going to make me some nice leaf mould, and what I want to do eventually is have 3 going at once. So I've got a 3-year like kind of continual supply, so there's going to be another leaf mould bay there and another leaf mould bay there, and eventually I want this area here that does nothing because of the shade to be a comfy patch. You can see even the rhubob's starting to kind of go down here. Nothing seems to do well here, but we might pick that rhubarb and do something with it at some point. It is looking pretty stressy. We'll see. And here's my wasabi plant that actually needs a little bit of water. It's feeling a bit dry there, but I have got some botany comfrey here that I've got from the internet, which I'm just going to try and grow on, and foxgloves and various different things in there. All the ferns now are up. This one will get a little bit more kind of sprightly, and this was a sea kale that I got last year that said plant in the sun, which I wasn't able to, and it's come back up, so I'm really pleased about that. The euphorbia here, this is going to get kind of chopped down and reduced this year because it's just taking up too much space, and I want to kind of develop this area. It's definitely an area for development. I've got all sorts of things in here, including rhubarb that just needs taken out, and the euphorbia beginning to spread there as well. We've got some catnip in the back and various little I always mean to take I see a green fly in here, but I always mean to take some seeds from here because it's such a pretty pink aquaregia. I must do that this year because they're so pretty. This as well is in the complete wrong place, but offers just these beautiful white flowers in spring, and I've got the cornflowers coming up, these beautiful blue. These are yellow. I forgot the name of them. I did find out once because they were in the Scottish garden. What's this, Lucy? But they're beautiful yellow flowers. We'll have a look again. I've got to learn the names a couple of times before I get them. This is my white foxglove. Hopefully they'll be good for the moths. And this is another area that's always a bit of a development area. These are kind of cuttings from here that I've just left to kind of rot down a little bit. See what happens, but they probably go in the recycle bin as well. This is actually a cauliflower, believe it or not. And we've also got various foxgloves, and we've got some cosmos in there as well, some verbena, and some snapdragon antirrhinums. But this is another area that needs to be developed a little bit for the shade. And this was like a half dead fern that I got cheap from the garden centre, and it's absolutely beautiful. Year after year it comes back. It uses its own foliage to renew itself every year, and then it gets cut down and up come these beautiful prongs. And I've got some, if you can see there, these lily type plants coming up. We've got some euphorbia here and here. Look, the names escaped us, but oh God, I had the name here. These come up with beautiful kind of green flowers as well, and there is a rhododendron here. It's just totally lost by everything else. This is actually a conker tree that probably needs coming out, but I just like the shape of the leaves at the moment. This in all its glory, some euphorbia spreading that needs taken out. This comes out with the most beautiful yellow flowers, but it just spreads everywhere. So that'll get a bit of a chop down. and the daffodils are kind of finishing now. So what I tend to do, just take the heads off, pop them down. I've got some lovage here that was grown from seed a couple of years ago, and it's really taken off in this corner, just loves it. This is a celery plant going to seed, some various self-seeded poppy seeds, and here is my Jerusalem artichokes going crazy over here, absolutely mad. I thought I had none left, but up was I wrong, up the pot, but they create a beautiful big screen for over here, and the same here. And I've actually got some sunflowers dotted around as well in there. I've also just planted up some various dahlias and some different kind of cosmos, and I've got some onions in here that we're just going to probably use for spring onions. And I just shoved a spare 8-ball squash in here as well the other day to see what happens. But this area hopefully will be full of flowers, and these poppies really cheer it up. But I don't like, well, this is off somewhere. What I don't like is like big blousy flowers, because I think the two in your face are like subtle, and certainly at the moment that's what will be. But when we get this hyacinth bush comes out, it will be all pink and blousy. Interestingly, I haven't had any lupins this year. Normally I get a lovely display, so we're gonna have to try and figure out what's going on there. But I think they're being choked out by these bloody things that just go everywhere. But I will get them out and we'll figure it out. And I've also got this really big plant here, cardoon, that's grown nicely as well, and various foxgloves. This is just weeds in the back that need taken out. Some purple vein sage, sorrel, a volunteer potato, some lamb's lettuce, and we have got some Welsh onions at the back there. And down this part of the garden, I've got some fennel that seems to come back every year, so I just leave it because we use that for various herb things. Just planted some parsley down there, and we've got some lovely sorrel here, and it's like a lemony flavour. It's just beautiful. And that is the big tour of the garden, and you can see how much we're packing to such small areas, but we do it intensively. And what I try to do is follow kind of a permaculture approach to containers and to kind of planting areas, so that we'll get lots of variety in where we plant. Hopefully that'll work to kind of bring in bugs and predators and counteract each other, and just offer a little bit of love to the soil using the no-dig method as well. We've also got like a potato there, and I can't even remember planting it. They just pop up everywhere. But this is kind of the space I'm really pleased with the most. I am thinking about maybe sneaking another one over there, but we'll see. For now, this is doing really, really well. So I'm going to sign off, and just before I go, I did want to say how sad it was to hear about Steve from Green Side Up. He was a big inspiration to me, just the stuff that he knew and the knowledge. I've watched him for years. I've grown along with him in January. Really sad to hear, but you know, hopefully his kind of memory certainly is going on YouTube with all the tributes. It's really nice. But I just wanted to say thanks, Steve, and I'll see you later. Bye.